Yeah. Hi, good morning. Just before starting the demo session, just let me know you're getting my voice and the screen. Just let me know. Just use your chat box. Okay. So your my voice. Right. Okay. Okay. So could you able to see the screen? Okay. Fine. Yeah. We'll start the session. Okay. So just let me introduce myself. Okay. Myself, Mahesh Poudapelly. I'm having 7+ years of experience as a technical trainer. Okay, and I'm teaching, I'm giving trainings on Python, Java, Big Data, Hadoop. Okay, so I'm an Oracle certified Java programmer. Okay, I got the Oracle certification. So this is my brief introduction. So let me start the demo session for Python. Okay, so as we discussed in the yesterday's class, okay, we have discussed in the yesterday's class also the demo session. So we'll see some points in that session, then we'll move forward. Okay. Okay. So the first thing that we are actually thinking of learning the Python programming, right? So why we are thinking of Python programming and I mean, what are the advantages if we learn the Python programming and all? So first we'll see that thing, then move into the actual Python features and all. So before going into that, let me discuss about the computer language, how we are giving some instructions to the computer and how it is translating from one language into another language. Because that is very basic thing that we need to understand before getting into the programming language. Okay. Okay, so first we'll discuss about the language. Okay, when we say the language, yes, there are different kind of languages are there. English, Hindi, Telugu, okay, Marathi, etc. What we are doing with these languages in the sense we are communicating with person to person. Okay, one person to another person, we are communicating with this language. So what we are using to communicate a person to person in the sense we are using in a particular language, we are using set of instructions. There are set of instructions. If we take the English language, okay, so I'm communicating English language with you. So for English language, we have set of instructions. Those are tenses and all. So by using the tenses and all, I'm just framing the sentences. Right? So in the same way, you have to know the same language, that is English language, with having some set of instructions. So then only it can be possible to communicate with person to person. Otherwise, the communication will not be done. Okay. So this is about simply, briefly about the language. But there is a computer language is there. Okay. So here, what actually we are trying to do in the sense, we are, okay, a person or a programmer. Okay, a person or a programmer trying to communicate with the computer, not person, computer. Okay, the same time here also we have some set of instructions. Okay, set of instructions, but whatever the person or programmer having the set of instructions is not understandable by the computer. Okay, I repeat, whatever the person or programmer trying to communicate with the computer with having some set of instruction cannot be understandable by the computer program, computer or a machine. So what actually we need to do? Okay, what is the language that computer understands? What is the language that computer understands in the sense computer understands only the binary language. Okay, computer understands only the binary language, that is including zeros and ones. So the computer cannot understand the high level language which a person or programmer trying to communicate with the machine. Okay, a person speak or a programmer writes high level language. Okay, so here I'm giving some set of instructions. Okay, I'm writing some statements here. A equals to 10, B equals to 20, and I'm storing this, the addition value into variable C equals to A plus B. Thing called C, the result. So these set of instructions, these kind of statements that we are passing to the computer. Okay, programmer is directly passing to the computer by giving this set of instructions. The thing is, the computer cannot understand A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to A plus B, print of C, which is in high level language. Okay, the computer cannot understand this high level language. The computer understands only the binary language. Okay, only the binary language which includes zeros and ones, which includes zeros and ones. So what actually we need to do in the sense we need to convert these high level language into binary language which can be understandable by the computer. So how we can translate in the sense by using the translators. How we'll convert in the sense by using the translators we can convert the high level language into the binary language. Okay, what are the translators and all we'll see. But by using the translators only we can convert the high level language into the binary language. Okay. So now here we are using some translators. When we are using the translators, immediately the statement, the set of instructions that which is in high level language A equals to 10, right? So that A equals to 10 got converted into ones and zeros form, which is in binary form. That got converted from A equals to 10 to ones and zeros form. Here we have ones and zeros. Got it. In the same way, the complete program, okay, the entire program will be converted line by line. So the first line got converted ones and zeros. and the second line, that b equals to 20, got converted, okay, ones and zeros. In the same way, each and every line that are going to be converted into binary form. So after completion of this entire conversion, what it will do, in the sense, the PVM, the Python virtual machine, is going to be executed this binary code only. Okay, the computer understands only this binary code. The computer will execute only this binary code, and it will execute this complete business logic, and it will produce, okay, it will give the output. So the output also, which is in the binary form only, okay, which is in the binary form, binary code. Again, that we need to convert that output, which is in the binary form, that we need to convert into the high level language, which can be understandable by the programmer or person or a user. So here we can understandable the 30, the result 30 can be understandable by the person or a programmer. So this is the way the computer works. This is the basic thing, how actually we are giving an input to a computer and how it is going to convert, okay, inside by using the translators. Again, the output needs to be converted into the high level language. This is the scenario. Okay, so what are the translators? So we have discussed, okay, as I said, like the translators are the converters from high level language to the binary language. What are the translators are there, in the sense? We have the translators, compilers, and interpreters. Okay, we have compilers and interpreters. So there are compiler based programming languages are there, and interpreter based programming languages are there. Okay, so whatever the thing that we are writing, okay, that we are, so the conversion is understandable by the machine, but the execution part, we need to execute the entire business logic, right? So the execution will be taken care of the programming language. Okay, here the programming language comes into the picture. Each and every programming language having the unique syntax. Okay, there are two kind of programming languages are there. That is compiler based programming language and interpreter based programming language. Got it. Compiler based programming language and interpreter based programming language. So we have some examples for the programming languages that we have. Okay, that we plus .NET, Java, okay, these including compiler and interpreter. Got it? So what are the compiler based programming languages and interpreter based programming languages? In the sense, first we'll see the compiler based programming language. The compiler based programming language includes C, C++, .NET and Java, okay, which having the compilers to convert from high level language into the binary code. That is the translator that we are using for C, C++, .NET and Java to convert the high level language which the programmer is giving as an input to the machine, which is going to be converted into the binary language. Simple. Okay, these are the compiler based programming language. And interpreter based programming languages are Python and Java. Okay, so you see Java is there in both, like compiler based and interpreter based. Sometimes it acts as compiler based programming language, and sometimes it acts as the interpreter based programming languages as well. But Python is purely interpreter based programming language. Okay, so as we are discussing about the compiler based and the interpreter based, we see some differences. Okay, we see some differences. What is the compiler based programming language? In the sense, these are C, C++, .NET and Java. So what these programming languages does, in the sense, this compiler is going to read the entire program at a time. Okay, it reads the entire program at a time. Okay, it will not read the line by line code. It reads the entire program at a time and it checks the errors. Okay, after reading the entire program, first suppose if you have uh, a 10 lines of code or else 100 lines of code, the complete thing, okay, the complete program is going to be read at a time. Okay, and after that it will checks for the errors are there or not. So what kind of errors are there? Those are we call as the compile time errors. Compiler produce compile time errors. When the compile time error occurs, when the compile time error occurs, in the sense when we are not maintaining the syntax, okay, when we are not maintaining the syntax properly, then we'll get the compile time error. Whatever the 10 lines of code or it's 100 lines of code, if we are maintaining the syntax properly, will not get any compile time error. Otherwise, otherwise we'll get the compile time error. Otherwise, we'll get the compile time error. Okay, the programmer is responsible. Okay, who is the responsible? We are. The programmers are responsible to handle these compile time errors. What actually we need to do? We need to handle these compile time errors. Wherever we are not maintaining the syntaxes, there we need to rectify and we need to properly, we need to arrange that code. So after completion of, okay, rectifying these errors, okay, if there is no error, if there is no error in your entire program, what the compiler does, in the sense, it is going to convert the high level language into the machine understandable language. That is a thing. Okay, the first thing what the compiler is going to do, the first compiler is going to read the entire program at a time. It is going to read the complete program at a time, and after that it is going to checks for the errors which are the compile time errors. Okay, if the compile time errors are there, if the syntax errors are there in the program, the programmer is responsible to handle the entire program. Okay, to the entire errors. So you need to rectify. After rectifying these errors, if you don't have any errors, it is going to convert the high level language into the binary language, which is in the zeros and ones form. That will be happen in the compiler based programming languages. But we have another interpreter based programming languages that which is The best example is the Python programming is the interpreter based programming language. So what it does in the sense, it reads the program line by line, not the entire program. It reads the program line by line. When the first line got an error, okay, it is going to check the error as well. If you are going to get the error immediately going to immediately it is going to throw the compile time error. Okay, the programmer is the responsible. He need to rectify that error. Okay, and if there are okay no errors in the entire program, it is going to convert the high level language into the machine language. Got it? So the difference between the compiler based programming languages and the interpreter based programming languages are simple. The compiler reads the entire program at a time, but the interpreter reads the program line by line. If you get an error, immediately it is going to throw the error at that particular line only. That is why, that is why, which is very easy to understand the interpreter based programming languages and very easy to rectify those errors in the interpreter based programming languages. That is the advantage. So which is the best translator? Okay, we have the compiler and the interpreter, right? If the error rate is very high, if the error rate, okay, see here only it is says that if the error rate is very high, then we'll go for the compiler based programming languages. Okay, if the error rate is very high, in the sense, whatever the code that you are writing in your machine, in your computer, so if you are writing the entire code, if the error rate, okay, the possibility rate is very much high, then you go for the compiler based. In the sense, whatever the programming languages that you are using for the compiler based, you will get more errors. You will get more errors. Those are C, C++, .NET, and Java. These are the compiler based programming languages will get more errors when you execute the program. But then when it comes to the interpreter based programming languages, the error rate is very much low. Okay, we don't have that much error rate in our Python programming. It is very easy to rectify those errors. At the same time, the interpreter is going to read the program line by line. Okay, line by line, the interpreter is going to read. So suppose if you are getting at some point of time an error, immediately it is going to throw an error at this particular line only. So that is the advantage of interpreter based. And we can say the interpreter based programming languages, that is Python, having very low error rate. That is why, that is why Python programming, okay, learning Python language is very easy, okay, when we compare with any other programming languages. Okay, why? Because it has interpreter based programming approach. So that is why it has very low error rate. That is why we have, we don't want to bother about the errors. We'll get less errors. Okay, and it is very much easy to learn. Why? Because we have plenty of libraries are also there in Python. It is very much user friendly. Even a non-programmer background people are also can easily learn Python. Why? Because the syntax of Python programming is very easy to understand and it is very easy to write the program. Okay, if you are going with another programming like the Java, okay, people learn the Java programming language, but they cannot directly learn the Java programming. The prerequisite is you need to learn again C and C++. Okay, you need to learn the program data structures and as well as object-oriented programming before getting into the Java language. But when it comes to the Python programming, it is okay, there is no prerequisite. Directly, you can learn the Python programming. That much, it is very easy. Okay, so up to now we have discussed theoretically, but we'll see some program how Python is easy and how much code reduce is there. Okay, so there is a code reducibility. We can reduce the number of lines when we compare with another programming. Okay, so here the basic program I'm explaining, hello world program. What is the basic program? That is the hello world program I'm explaining in Java programming language, not in Python, in Java. You are writing a program in Java, okay? The basic program to declare the class, okay? To declare, I need to write the class name. You need to declare the class, you need to each class. Inside that class, the main method should be there, that we call a main method. Okay, the class which having the main method needs to be declared as public. Okay, so what you should write from the first public class name, then you need to open the braces, then you need to write the main method. So what is the main method here? Public static void main. So the main method is public static void main string array args. Okay, after declaring the main method, you need to open the braces again. Then you need to write some statements inside the main method. So what I'm writing here, system.out.println of hello world. System.out.println of hello world. And thing after completion of this statement, you need to close the main method braces. And again, you need to close the class braces with your opening and you need to close. So this much of 7 to 8 lines of code is involved when you want to print just hello world. That's it. But when it comes to the Python programming language, okay, hello world program in Python, when it comes to the Python programming language, simple, we are just writing print of hello world. That's it. And even we are not writing the semicolon as well. When you see here, you are writing the semicolon for the system.out.println statement. But in Python, we are writing print of hello world. There is no class, okay. There is no method, main method, nothing. There is no like braces kind of thing. Simply we are writing print of hello world. That's it. Then you will get the hello world as an output. So how much code reducibility is there? So this much of code reducibility is there. That is why everybody nowadays is showing interest to learn Python programming, which is very easy and very fast when it comes to the processing speed. That is also I will explain. Okay, and the thing is, when it comes to the Python programming language, okay, here previously we have converted the high level language into the machine language, right? Okay, previously we have converted the high level language into the machine understandable language by using these two translators. Okay, but when it comes to the Python programming, it is okay, the Python programming language directly it can understand the high level language. So whatever the code a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals to a plus b and all, this code, the sample code that we are giving as an input to the Python programming language, and there is no kind of an approach that converting the binary code. Okay, directly the Python programming itself, it can understand the high level language. What is a equals to 10? What is b equals to 20? What is c equals to a plus b? And what is print of c? So these kind of phases are not there. Okay, converting from high level language into the binary. Binary you need to execute respected, okay, by using any other programming language, and you need to get the output in a binary form. Then you need to convert that into the high level language again, which is human understandable language. So these are the phases are not there in Python programming. Directly, a Python programming can understand the high level language, it executes the complete business logic, and it produces the output in same high level language. It produces the same output in high level language, which is human understandable code, human understandable language as a person or a programmer, which easily they can understand. So that the processing speed will be high. Why? Because these many phases are not there, right? So the binary code concept is not there in Python, which is very easy and very fast when it comes to the uh, execution. When it comes to the execution. So that is why processing speed is very much high when we compare to another programming languages. Okay, and Python can understand directly the high level language, and directly it can convert after executing the business logic, it can convert the result also in high level language. Okay, and after that, okay, Python contains some libraries. Python, it contains some libraries. A vast library, okay, is there for Python. This is the major thing why Python is nowadays in each and every uh, different kind of environments like machine learning, okay, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and data science. So everywhere the people are showing interest to use the Python programming language. Why? What is the reason? The reason behind is it contains the vast library support. Okay, it contains NumPy library, it have Pandas library, Scikit library, SciPy, Matplotlib. For the different usage, for the different requirements, it has different libraries. So you can see In any other programming language, okay, generally you don't see these kind of library support. So that is the reason. That is the reason the people are showing interest to use in a different kind of environment, that is big data Hadoop. Okay, so by default, the Hadoop, okay, platform that uses Scala programming language by default, and it has the ability to use the Java programming language in MapReduce also. But even though, okay, the programmers and the organizations are ignoring these two programming languages, directly they are going to use big data Hadoop with PySpark. That is a major advantage. Why? Because it got the vast library support. That is why the people are using Python. And even when they're using in machine learning projects, okay, and artificial intelligence, deep learning projects, and the data science projects, everywhere they're using Python, which is easy to work on mathematical applications, which is easy to work on a string, okay, the character based applications and all. So that is the difference why we are actually going to learn for the Python programming. Got it? Yeah. So after that, so what is the environment that I'm using? So the environment that I'm using is PyCharm IDE, Integrated Development Environment. I'm using PyCharm IDE. So what you will get in my class, in the sense, the programmatical part, each and every program that we'll discuss in PyCharm IDE. So this is the PyCharm IDE. You can see here the environment that we are going to, okay, create a project, okay, and that we are going to create packages, okay, we're going to create each and every concept program in this area only. I'm not going to use Edit Plus. I'm not going to use Notepad plus plus and trying to execute in through the command prompt. Okay, the real-time environment that I'm going to show you, and in upcoming classes that I will explain the entire IDE and what are the specific things that we need to do for creating projects and creating methods, creating packages, and how we need to use actually this the entire PyCharm IDE, and how we'll create the programs and all. Okay, so this is the environment that I'm going to use in my classes, and for the theoretical discussions, I'm going to use the Notepad plus plus. Okay, this is the environment that I'm going to use. So by using the PyCharm IDE, the students get the real-time environment. Okay, they get the real-time IDE. So when they are going into the organization, directly they use this environment directly without having any doubts. They directly create the program in this environment. So that is the motto behind using this PyCharm IDE. So I mean, the people are learning. I mean, the experienced people are also learning Python, and the freshers are also learning Python. So that's why, to communicate with these experienced and freshers, I'm using the PyCharm IDE. Okay, so Python features are also there. Okay, I'll explain briefly about the Python features in upcoming classes. Definitely, I will explain in detail. Okay, So Python features. So the first feature of Python we have, it is easy to learn and write. It is easy to learn and write. Why we have already discussed. It is very easy. It having very easy syntax, and it got it can able to understand the high level language also. That is why we call the Python is high level programming language. Why? Because it can easily understand the high level language which the programmer giving as an input to the machine, and enclose the direct output in high level. And improved productivity. Okay, by using Python we can improve the productivity of an application. Why? Because we are having less code. We are having less code. Whenever you see the Python project behind Java project, okay, the thousands of lines of code is much bigger than the Python project in Java. Why? Because Java having heavy code, but Python having less code. That is the advantage. And it easily we can understand the syntax in Python. So that is why we can improve the productivity of an application in Python. Interpreted programming language. Yes, of course, we have already discussed this one. It reads, okay, it reads the program line by line. It reads the program line by line, and we can also debug the Python very easily. We can also debug the Python. Debugging in the sense after writing the complete code, okay, whether there are any syntactical errors, and after that how it will execute in the application level. So there, the debugging purpose also, the Python is very easy to execute. And the dynamically typed in the sense in Java language, okay, before declaring the variable, we need to declare the data type. Okay, these are the advanced things that we'll discuss elaborately in upcoming sessions. I'm just giving an example. Okay, in Python, sorry, in Java, before declaring a variable, we need to declare the data type. But in Python, it is not necessary. Directly, we can write the variable name with the value. So the Python does not know the type of variable until we run the code. So whenever we are running the code, immediately it is going to understand whatever the value that we are providing. Immediately it will understand, okay, it is the integer variable. That is why it automatically assigns the data type during the execution. Just 1 minute. I'll So the next feature that we have is free and open source. Okay, we are not going to pay anything to the Python. Okay, while we are using in our applications, directly we can download from python.org. Okay, so the okay, we'll see the installation part also in upcoming classes. Okay, directly we install the PyCharm IDE as well, and we'll going to install Python 3.9. That will be directly practically shown in my machine how we are going to install PyCharm and Python. Okay, And as I said, like the Python got vast library support. These are the libraries that we have. Okay, and portability. So this is also when the big advantage that Python can run on different kind of machines, like on different platforms. We can run on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Raspberry Pi, etc. We can use in different machines, okay, to execute the Python programming. So when you are, creating the project on Windows operating system, you can also run in Linux operating system. So that's why it is independent programming language, you can say. So you can write once, okay, you can write the code once and run it anywhere, any different operating systems. So these are the Python features that we have. Okay, so yeah, in this demo, I'm going to discuss in this thing, and I will show you the content as well. That is also very important. So in durgasofts.com, okay, you can take this link, okay, or else you can directly go to the durgasoft.com. There you'll find the Python content. So this is the Python content. So here we have language fundamentals, introductory part, and the major part that are going to discuss, and the operators, flow, okay, if condition, if else, if I live, the loop, while loop, okay, break, continue, pass, everything will be discussed in flow control. String data type, especially we discuss about the string data type. Why? Because we have plenty of function, predefined functions are there, and list data structure. Okay, these are the data structures, which is very important in Python. List, tuple, set, frozen set, and dictionary. We are going to discuss all these things in detail with programmatical approach that you can see here, okay, which we have already discussed all these programs. You can see the typecasting, data types, all are the packages that you can see. We have discussed different programs in flow control, if condition, for loop, break, continue, pass, and all, right? So the data structures part is there, and the functions part is also there. So there are some predefined functions, user-defined functions, okay, anonymous functions, recursive functions, which are very important in interview purpose also. And when I will give, yeah, you can directly ask any questions if you have. So there is a chat box is there. Okay, you can directly ask the questions. Directly I will answer. Okay, Priyanka. So after the completion of this content, okay, I'll give the time to ask some questions from your side. So the functions concept is there, and modules is of course packages, how we're going to create the packages and all, and pattern programs. Okay, oops concept is also there. Oops part 2. Okay, I have divided oops object-oriented programming in 4 parts: exception handling, file handling, multi-threading, Python database programming, regular expressions, okay, decorator, generator functions, assertions, and Python logging. So this is the core Python and advanced Python content. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can ask the questions if you have any questions, just let me know. So this is the 5 weekend batch. Okay. So from the next weekend, okay, 5 weekend classes are there. So you will get the complete practical oriented approach in my classes. Okay, it's not like continuing with the theoretical and all. I'll explain all the complete the thing in the programmatical approach. Each and every concept will be discussed in programmatical approach. So yeah, tell me if you have any doubts before closing the session. Just let me know. So use your chat box to write your queries, or else unmute yourself and you can directly ask the question. Any doubts? Okay, fine then. So we'll meet in the next weekend. Okay, the timings would be 9 to 10. Okay, so the timings and the fee structure that you will discuss with the DurgaSoft. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.